Hey, what's up everyone, TheJordude here, back again with another Shadowverse card reveal. This is of course for the upcoming expansion Eternal Awakening, which is coming out later this month of December. This is going to be a pretty cool expansion because they are collaborating again with the Grand Blue franchise. So without further ado, let's get into my card reveal, which is Primordial Colossus, which is a Forestcraft golden follower. It's 7 play points for a 4/6, and when it evolves it becomes a 6/8. The fanfare effect reads, give your leader the following effect. Once on each of your turns when you play a card, recover 2 play points and add 2 to the number of cards played this turn. This effect is not stackable and lasts for the rest of the match. And when you evolve it, you recover 2 play points. So for all of my Japanese viewers out there, the card is Genshin no Akushin, 7pp エルフ follower. Fanfare, このバトル中、自分のリーダーは自分のターンごとに1回。自分がカードをプレイしたとき、自分の PP を2回復して、このターン中にカードをプレイした枚数をプラス2するを持つ。リーダーはこの能力を重複して持たない。進化とき、自分の PP を2回復。So this is of course a very strong leader effect that Forest has the ability to gain now. Of course, Forestcraft being a class where you want to be playing multiple cards to activate combos, and this effect lets you do that exactly. So let's talk about the cards that will work well with Primordial Colossus leader effect. The first one that comes to mind is of course Life Banquet. Life Banquet is a card that has a lot of potential, but a lot of people find troubles getting up to 8 cards played this turn to combo out the 2 Deepwood anomalies. Now this is of course meant to be a very hard condition to meet, but with the Primordial Colossus already knocking down 2 for you, and then you also get to recover play points, it becomes a lot easier to get to those conditions to get your Deepwood anomalies out. Not to mention, just by playing 1 card, you already trigger the first effect of Life Banquet, which gets you out a Furious Mountain deity. Other cards that benefit well with Primordial Colossus in the current rotation pool is Lumbering Carapace, Soothing Spell, and Kokoro Faithful Guide. So these cards are a little bit smaller, they're not going to be game breaking, but it becomes a lot easier to activate their abilities with the Primordial Colossus, essentially triggering their combo conditions. Other cards that synergize really well with Primordial Colossus is Loxy Homestead Pioneer. This card is very dominant in the current rotation. So now once you have your leader effect active, when you play Loxy, you immediately recover more play points. So you could do a lot more crazy stuff with the Loxys. You could get out pretty much all of its amulets, you could get a lot of combos going, and you could probably just push a lot more damage with like Sukuna or Shamu and Shama. Speaking of Shamu and Shama Posh Felines, this is another card that goes really well with the Primordial Colossus, because with Shamu and Shama, essentially you want to always get to the 6 cards played so you can get its maximum potential out, and it's going to be a lot easier to do because the leader effect is going to give you more play points to work with to play more cards, and also it's already going to knock out 2 of those cards played this turn for the combo. So some cards that are rotating out that I do want to pay attention to from Verdant Conflict is Airbound Barrage. This card was a really strong card for Forestcraft. It enabled combos because it's a cheap spell, it's good removal, and you get to bounce and replay powerful cards. And Fertile Aether and Traveler's Respite is also getting rotated out. This is really huge because these were essentially 0 play point cards where if you comboed with your Primordial Colossus, you could gain essentially +2 play points for free. Like if you played the 0 play point Naturian Tree on turn 7, you can automatically go back up to 4 play points on the turn that you played your Primordial Colossus. Same with the Fertile Aether. These were also really good cards in combination with your Loxy as well, so it's a pretty big hit for Forest losing these cards in the rotation. So think about what decks Primordial Colossus can be played in. Probably it's going to be good with some kind of Loxy deck. So in the current rotation, a more combo orientated Loxy is the more popular deck, and because it's losing the Natura package, it's going to be a little bit weaker. There's a lot of cards missing in the deck, so we're going to have to see what comes out this expansion which could replace it and keep Loxy as a strong combo orientated deck. However, it doesn't have to be just combo. You could play Loxy in the more aggressive version, and this is going to work with the Primordial Colossus as well because it lets you set up combos easier, especially later into the game when you don't have as many resources. You might not have as many cards to play to trigger combos, so the Primordial Colossus is going to help out a lot for that. In terms of Accelerate Force, I don't think it's going to work too well with the deck, just because Accelerate Force doesn't really need the extra cards for the combo, and it doesn't really need extra play points anyways. So I think it's not going to be a card that's included in Accelerate builds. So let's talk about the pros and cons of Primordial Colossus. First of all, the pros, I think it's a very potent leader effect. You get to set up late game combos. It's a pseudo ramp, so essentially on your turn 8 for example, you have like 10 play points available. Of course you can't play like a 10 play point card on your turn 8, but you're going to have 10 play points available, which lets you set up bigger combos a lot quicker. If you get towards the later parts of the game, like on turn 10, you essentially have 12 play points to work with. So depending what we get from this expansion, there might be a lot of crazy things that we could do. It's also just a very solid on-curve play. Like on turn 7, it's not just a block of stats setting up your leader effect for future turns, because if you evolve it, you recover 2 play points. So now you're going to be able to play another card, recover another 2 play points, and play another card, and that might also trigger some combos. So you could actually do like pretty strong things on turn 7, because on turn 7 you're essentially getting 11 play points to work with, 7 play points for the Colossus, and then you're recovering 4 essentially after you evolve it. So the cons of this card, well, it is relatively late in the game. Turn 7 to set up this leader effect is a little bit slow, especially because there's quite a few decks where they try to OTK you on like maybe turn 9 for example. So on turn 7, it might not be quick enough where that leader effect comes into much benefit for you. It's not going to be able to turn the game for you. Now this is of course how the meta turns out. If the meta is really fast, then yeah, this card is going to be a bit too slow. But if the meta is maybe slower, more control orientated, then getting the benefits of this Primordial Colossus is going to be really good. The lateness of this card is what pushes this card out of Unlimited. It's just way too slow and probably won't be played at all in the Unlimited format. Another con is that the current card pool doesn't really utilize Primordial Colossus that well. Now I talked about Loxy, I talked about Life Banquet, and these cards, while they are good with the Primordial Colossus, that's pretty much it. Like everything else is just like it has some synergy, but it's not really abusing this effect that much. Now this might change because I don't know what other cards are dropping for Forestcraft this expansion at the moment, so it really depends what else gets released as an expansion that can really utilize Primordial Colossus to its full potential. So that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about this card in the comments down below, and give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more Shadowverse content, and I'll see everyone next time. Peace.